Hi viewers, this is Shaheed Ali with your favorite program Let's Talk, and today we will discuss about the Australian educational system. For that we have with us Mr. Tanveer Shaheed, who is an educational expert. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Tanveer is a business development management professional with over 13 years of experience in Australian international education industry. So Mr. Tanveer, would you like to tell us something about the Australian education system?
Sure. Australian education system is very similar to Pakistani education system. With my experience, I have seen it's all fall under the Commonwealth governance. As you know, that Australia is also was a part of the Commonwealth. So it's very similar. We start with our primary education, then the secondary education, higher secondary education, then the bachelor degree people do, we call it undergraduate area, and then the postgraduate. And most of the people, if they like to, they can go for the further studies under MPhil or PhD. That's the way the education goes in Australia. And these universities, generally there are 43 universities are there. And these 43 universities, they are facilitating this MPhil, PhD, master's or bachelor degrees. And our high schools are delivering the programs for our senior secondary school. Over there, the secondary school, higher secondary school starts from year 7 till year 12. And primary education, we call it from kindergarten to year 6. So that is a nutshell about the Australian education system.
So, how many universities are there? As you told that almost 43 universities are there. How many in public sector or how many in private?
Most of the universities are actually public sector university. They have, but it's kind of autonomous. So it's owned by the land may be owned by the government, but the decision-making power lies with the University Council
and the Board of Governors.
And the Board of Governance. So at this moment, we have only 2-3 private universities, and the remaining all the universities are public universities.
And what about the international ranking?
International ranking, as you know, that if you consider QS ranking, you consider Times Higher Education ranking or Shanghai Jiaotong academic ranking, most of the universities fall within the top 200 universities or top 300 universities. So we, out of say almost 20 universities fall within the 300 top ranked university in the world. And at the same time, when we are talking about the ranking in the course-wise ranking, like course in MBA or course in psychology, these are the subject-wise ranking. These universities always either top 50 or top 100 in the world.
Okay, so how many South Asians, as you are dealing with the South Asia, how many South Asian students are in the Australian universities?
At this moment, there are quite good number of South Asian students in Australian universities. I would say that nearly 100,000 South Asian students are in Australia. Nearly, we are having over 400 international students studying in Australia. So I would say that 1/4 are South Asian students.
And I have studied the profile of the almost 100 countries students are in studying in Australia. So can you tell us that how many Americans, how many Europeans, what they are studying in Australia?
Yes, you raised a very good point. There are lots of students coming from North America, South America or Europe, and these are quite developed countries. But at the same time, as you know that in the global context, people like to move from one country to another country, like to experience the country culture, food, beside the education also. So we have seen that lots of North American and the European students are coming to Australia for study exchange, even for a one term, so that they can experience the wonderful beaches, wonderful weather, wonderful friendly multicultural people of Australia, having a bit of experience. And end of the day is the networking also.
Tell me one thing, that if a student comes from Pakistan, goes from Pakistan and India to Australia, why he should go to Australia rather than in America, in Canada, in Europe? Why should go to Australia?
First of all, I would like to say that Australia's weather, it's a wonderful weather. So it's not, we don't have that much snow even like so many other countries you have mentioned. The second point is that all the people in Australia speak in English. So students coming from South Asia, including Pakistan, they don't need to learn any new language because of course they know the Urdu and the English they have been studying from their childhood. So that is the second advantage, going to Australia, no new effort learning a new language. And the third reason, I would say that the quality of education. I can give you an example. Like when Australian University recruit international student, all the international student fall under a particular law. It's called the ESOS Act. ESOS Act is Education Services for Overseas Student. So it makes sure the right of an international student. So if the student pay the tuition fees, where would be the course would be delivered, how the course would be delivered, how many subjects they will be learning. So all of these would be covered in ESOS. So it's a kind of a safeguard. Going to Australia, you are paying tuition fees, but for the parents, it's kind of a safeguard the Australian education, that international education industry has made for the students. So that's why we have seen that over the last decade, this many numbers of international students are coming to Australia. And at the same time, recently you have seen that the Australian dollar is exchange rate in between Pakistan or India with Australian dollar is significantly downgraded. So this is another good reason choosing Australia over other countries like USA, Canada or UK. And lastly, I'd like to say that Australian, the government regulation is that students can work part-time studies while they are studying. So it's not only earning the money it's kind of an hands-on job experience. So what they are studying at the same time, they can get a bit of work experience relevant to their study. So it will give them an edge in their future career prospect. And lastly, if students are applying for a 2 years course of study in the bachelor or master's degree or even PhD, they will get actually the post-study visa, work visa after their study. So that is another reason the students like to, because the students like to study, like to gain a bit of experience in Australia, and they're happy to come back or go. They become a global citizen. They can go to any other country for their career, for pursue their further career. So all of these are the main reason currently Pakistani student on the.
It's a mix of opportunity.
Mix of opportunity, huge opportunity. Australia is a continent, as you know, and it's only 2.4 million people are there. So in a continent, 2.4, which is in Pakistan, we call it 2 crores 40 lakhs people. So you can see that it's a land of opportunities. Whereas in Karachi, maybe you have more than 2 crores people.
You want to say that while you are studying in Australia, it's more economical and more beneficial for the students rather to go to America or Europe. It's better opportunity for them to study in Australia.
Certainly, at this moment, if you consider the exchange rate, if you consider the other avenues, the Australian employment opportunities for these international students. So if you consider, and another important aspect we recently have, that we actually surveyed international students, how they are performing, are they happy with Australian education. You would be happy to know that 90% of international student, it's an iGraduate survey 2015 we say, it's a 90% of the, more than 90% student, international students said that they are very satisfied with the education, what they are getting in Australia.
Okay. Now we will talk about the collaboration, educational collaboration, how Pakistan and Australia can collaborate in education sector.
Sure. Pakistani students started going to Australia, I would say that a good number or kind of a significant number over the last few years, I would say. So, and Australians also were not that much aware of Pakistan, what the students or the university can offer. So I would say that we are at the very preliminary stage of building that sort of collaboration in between Australian universities and the Pakistani universities. So slowly we have started doing it. For an example, last year 12 vice chancellors went to Australia under the initiative of Higher Education Commission. At the same time, they met with our vice chancellors and our executives. So people came to know each other, what they can offer. Then we have found that there are lots of areas of joint collaboration opportunities are there in between us. So with that view, we came back to Higher Education Commission. We discussing the matters, how we can enhance this thing. And for an example, few months back, apparently, we have few Australian universities, top leading universities, they have signed MOUs with HSCs. And these Australian universities and HSC jointly providing scholarships for higher degree research for Pakistani students. So this is one avenue that you promote the research, joint research, or the high degree research studies in between these two countries, like people from Pakistan going Australia and get under the scholarship scheme by HSC and those individual universities. At the same time, Australian government in providing lots of scholarships, like for an example, Endeavour Scholarship, Australia Award, defense scholarship. So we have seen that these scholarship schemes are quite handful. For an example, I can tell you that a particular course, Master of Policing Counter-Terrorism, my university, where I'm from, Macquarie University, we have significant number of army personnel, police personnel actually studying at this Macquarie University under the Australia Award or the Defence Scholarship Scheme. So this is the collaboration at that sort of level under the scholarship scheme is possible. And at the same time, I would like to continue the momentum. We like to see that Pakistani academics visit Australia. Australian academics come here and they go meet with the VCs, they meet with the executive, they meet with the students, provide some joint conference, guest lecturership, and it goes vice versa. And lastly, I'd like to mention that in terms of the collaboration, Australian education is one of the greatest education system we are providing in the world. Otherwise, we wouldn't have 400,000 international students. So certainly, this is something to experience. And I think, I strongly believe that if Pakistani universities take that initiative to visit our universities, shadowing our key executives' portfolio for a few days, few weeks, I think they would gain a lot.
As you have said that 13 VCs of the different universities of Pakistan visited Australia and they signed MOUs with the HEC. This is one thing. What was the after effect of that? What they did after coming back to Pakistan? Did you have any video conferencing in these universities or any other activities you have generated that people should know, the students should know about the Australian system? If one goes there, Australia, it will be an expensive, but now we have the opportunity of the video conferences to tell the people about that, tell the students about the Australian university, Australian educational system. Have you did that?
Yes, certainly. We not exactly through the video conferencing, but through the email broadcast. We have been doing that. Like every universities have the international office in Australia. At the same time, all the Pakistani universities also have international office. So through the international office, we are sending those scholarship information to the director of the international offices, and they are actually broadcasting this one among the junior academics who likes to do the higher degree research or even the postdoctoral research. That is one avenue. At the same time, as I say to you, that we are going to bring our academics in Pakistan. So our academics or myself, people like me, we will be continuously coming here at least a couple of times in a year, and we are doing actually seminars and information sessions about our education system, about the scholarship opportunities for Pakistani students. So that is the way we trying to build that awareness, and this is the program today. We are here to share that experience as well.
Okay, as an educational expert, what do you suggest for the Pakistani student that which field they should adopt, whether they are in Pakistan or they are going to abroad, not only in Australia, if they are going to Europe, if they are going to America, how they see a university, how they check a university, what is the criteria?
That's a very good question you have raised. Most of the time, these students come to us and ask us that what sort of course we would study. But actually, we reverse that question. We ask the student, or I'd like to share this thing with you, that it's basically up to the student to choose his career. We say that after 5 years, what you want to be, or after 10 years, what you want to be. So it's up to the student that if he wants to be agriculturalist, So and if he has done his bachelor degree in agriculture engineering, he should pursue in the similar area. If he's an accountant and he wants to become an accountant in the future, he should look for the accounting relevant course. So all the courses have high demand in Australia or anywhere in the world. So it's up to the student which one they have the passion for it. And if they look for their passion, certainly they will do well in their career. So it's up to actually the student that if they want to be accountant or aeronautical engineer, they should pursue what their passion is, rather than looking for those universities or which courses. That is a bit narrow, I personally feel that. So we always advise that look for your career first or your passion first. And then certainly Australian University have thousands of courses, degrees, and under these umbrellas of these 43 universities, as you can understand. So certainly they can then fit in any of the universities.
Okay, here we will take a short break. Welcome back, viewers. So, Mr. Tanveer, would you like to tell us that how Pakistani educational institutions be the part of Australian universities?
Thank you for asking the question. Certainly, Australian University always welcome the international universities, including Pakistan. And one of the quick data I like to highlight here, that by the Austrade 2020 data, we are projecting that Pakistani students would be the most probably the third biggest student numbers in Australia among the international students. So certainly we are seeing a very huge interest for Australia from Pakistan. So this is the right time to step into that direction. So certainly I like to welcome all the Pakistani universities to be part of the Australian education system. As you said that how. So in that terms, I would like to say that they can contact the universities. All the Australian universities have an international office, so that is the best way to communicate. And certainly international office can facilitate those sort of requests. So, and the request could be in the area of joint research, request could be in the area of joint PhD supervision, or sometimes is only just a guest lecturership, or the video conferencing, or the academic meeting, or some sort of a study tour. So there are so many avenues that Pakistani universities can collaborate with Australian universities.
Okay, as you know that Pakistanis, they are very much keen about their the future of their children, how they can secure their future. Which are the main fields which the Australian universities are offering?
Sure. It's a very common question parents do ask us, that what about our kids when they're going, and then how it will be happening for the added value. So basically studying overseas, if you say that one, we are heading towards, is the 21st century, and we are heading towards a global world. So at this moment, there are lots of research being conducted, and it's been found that if you study multiple countries during your graduation, the employability possibility would be much, much higher than studying the whole undergraduate degree in one country. So that is same for whether it's a Pakistani student or American student or even an Australian student. So certainly I would like to encourage that the parents need to encourage their children to go abroad if it is possible for the whole program, or otherwise only for one semester, just to experience the country, experience the people, so that will certainly give them outlook, and will help them the thinking that outside of box. So that will give them a better employability in the future. And another thing that when you are you can have a Australian degree, all the universities Australian degrees are internationally recognized. So our alumni are placed all over the world. They're working in Dubai, they're working in Europe, they're working back in Pakistan in so many various areas. They're working, they become a global citizen. So certainly the international job opportunity comes up for those students who study in Australia.
Okay. Mr. Tanveer, as you are currently working as a senior country manager for South Asia for Macquarie University, Sydney, would you like to tell us your responsibility? What are your main responsibilities?
Sure. Me and my team are constantly looking forward that to share the information about the Australian education system, the advantages of Australian education system to rest of the world. Okay, so as you mentioned that I'm looking after the South Asia region, so I travel constantly in this region, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, so these sort of countries, and we have been talking about what the opportunities the students and the academics and the universities, the local universities could have in Australia. So that is my main role. So we are helping to build MOUs for the two universities from a local Pakistani or any South Asian universities with my university, which is Macquarie University. We are helping organizing some sort of study tour for these sort of local universities in our campus. We are facilitating the information session about scholarship provisions and other education related information to Pakistani students and the South Asian students. So these are the key role. At the same time, we have few business partners here because we cannot be here 365 days, as you can understand. So Macquarie University working with few business partners in South Asia. So we maintain a very close relation with these business partners, and these business partners assist university to recruit the right student at the right course. So all of these are actually we look after under our portfolio.
So as far as I have understand, you are working on both on two sides. One, to recruit the students for Sydney, for Australia, and the second one, you are doing collaboration with the universities. So it is understandable that you are taking students, you are recruiting students for Australia. Tell us something about the collaboration with the university level. How do you do that?
Yes, it started, to be honest, as you mentioned that, as I mentioned earlier, that when the Pakistani VCs visited our in Australia and few universities, so we met them in person. And from there it has started that that why don't we do institutional collaboration, and with the initiative by Austrade and Higher Education Commission here. We had a quite good encouragement from all the sectors. So then my university stepped in into this institutional collaboration, and so far we have done already a few MOUs with Pakistani universities, including Bahria University, Lahore School of Economics, and a few other MOUs are in process. So under this MOU, this umbrella, we like to see that our academics visit these universities, do the guest lecturership, meeting with the executives, and gain some local knowledge, and try to understand that what Pakistani universities are good at, so that we can make some joint research activities. So at the same time, we like to say that Pakistani universities, their academics, their VCs come to our university, experience the university teaching and curriculum, learning curriculum activities. There are lots of things maybe they can experience and can get benefit from there. And for the student side, they can come for a short study tour or study exchange sort of program to our university under this MOU. And lastly, by having this sort of institutional collaboration and MOU, the opportunities of articulation possibilities are there, so that Pakistani student might do 2 years study, undergraduate study here, and further 2 years at Macquarie University or some other Australian university. So articulation sort of pathway, I perceive that can be done in the future.
Do you have any collaboration with National Defence University, Islamabad and Qaeda University?
Not yet, but National Defence Academy, that institution, as I mentioned you earlier, that we have a few academics, a few students from your various sectors, especially Army and Police and Air Force even. So one of our academics, one of our students who just recently finished PhD from Macquarie University under the master of our department is called the Policing, Intelligence and Counterterrorism. He is actually an assistant professor at India. So we are certainly looking forward to it in the future whenever it's possible. Our senior executive from Policing and Counterterrorism department will come. Certainly we are going to make a arrangement with India so that we can work together in that space as well.
Okay, let's talk about something about the Macquarie University, and this is your university. So I think that as I have studied its profile, university's profile, tell us something about the Macquarie University Engineering Department.
Sure. Engineering and information technology and telecommunication area, Macquarie University is very famous. In our late 1999, around that time, Macquarie University, few professors, our students, along with CSIRO, which is another research institution of Australia, we jointly actually invented the chip, which is called the WLAN chip, wireless LAN chip, which underpins today's Wi-Fi technology. So, and later on we of course sold it to the commercial purpose. So that was a significant achievement of Macquarie University and CSIRO, which we developed from Australia. So at the same time, with that footprint, we are having a strong department in science and engineering. We are running PhD programs under the telecommunication. We are working with radio technology, wireless technology, even the 5G network, which is the future of networking. And you would be happy to know that few of Pakistani students who are with the scholarship, they are actually working at Macquarie University and working in this 5G and the telecommunication networking under our engineering department.
So you are spreading technology all over the world, including Pakistan. There is no restriction for Pakistani student to go there. Everything is open for everyone.
Certainly.
Okay. So what about the Graduate School of Management? It is also your center of excellence, I think.
Yes, Macquarie Graduate School of Management. This is our business graduate school. Most of the world-renowned university have a separate business school. So we call it MGSM in short. So MGSM is currently, in terms of the Financial Times ranking, this is #1 in Australia. So anyone who is looking for MBA ranking, MGSM ranking is #1 in Australia. It is one of the top 100 again in the world. In even the economics, it is the top 50, the MGSM MBA ranking. So that is the business school, and of course under the MGSM, students are doing the PhD and the high degree research as well.
And what about the Macquarie University Library? It's a very beautiful and robotic library. It's a new concept in the world, or any other university also had that?
At this moment, only very few universities in the world, they have that technology what Macquarie University is
So would you like to tell us in detail about that?
It's quite difficult actually to explain, but in simple word, I would like to say that we use actually robots in our library to retrieve the books. So in this, our library, Macquarie University Library, we have nearly 1.8 million materials. So 18 lakhs materials we have, books, videos, and all sort of materials. And almost 80 to 90% materials of the books, we keep it in the bin, in a metal bins, a container, okay? And we use the robotic arms, the cranes, to retrieve those books. And the whole process, when a student, they can do it from their mobile, they can do it from their laptop, anywhere where they have the internet access, they can access this library. And whenever they will order the book, within 10 to 15 seconds, any book can be retrieved. So that is the technology. It's called the auto retrieval facilities. So that is the technology we are using. And at this moment, only Macquarie University have these facilities. And of course, there are other materials like online journal access, thousands of online journal access, and other things are there. But this is a very unique feature, that auto retrieval facilities, where the robotic technology being used to retrieve the books. So because this Macquarie University is a university of very research-based university, innovative learning and teaching experience the student can have. So here our students will be using lots of referral books for any assignment, any projects. So by having a quick access of book, you can imagine within 30 to 40 seconds if you can retrieve a book from a 18 lakhs book stall. So how speed it is. So within generally our service level agreement with our staff and the student with our library is within half an hour they can have any book which is available in the library. So basically here students come here taking the book, quickly going through. If it is important, they take the note, return the book, order another few books, and the whole process is very robust.
Okay. As you said earlier that Australia has a study that in 2020 the Pakistani students will be the number one in South Asia.
Not from the South Asia. India would be still the higher number. But I'm saying that it would be one of the top 3-4 source of students in Australia, Pakistan.
So, will you accommodate all the students, those who want to go to Australia? Will you give them the opportunity that they should go there and study there? Or you will have an other strategy that offshore campuses, do you have any plan to establish offshore campuses in Pakistan?
At this moment, due to the travel advisory, it is a bit difficult for Australian universities to travel or to set up such campus. But certainly in the future, the few universities will be looking into that. As you know, that few Australian universities have already opened campuses in Dubai, Malaysia, and so many places. So certainly Pakistan could be a future avenue subject to the travel advisory.
Other than the travel advisory, there are many big institutions, private universities are working in Pakistan. Do you have any plan to have a collaboration with them as well? Or you are working on in the public sector university, as you have said that 13 VCs from the different, definitely those will be the from the public sector, but the private sector is also growing very well in Pakistan. Do you have any program to have a collaboration with them?
Certainly, collaboration-wise, it's possible. But when you're thinking about the opening a campus, you need a offshore campus. You need a huge resource for that. The Australian universities are very quality concerned, so it needs to be exactly replicated what the students are getting in on campus in Sydney or anywhere in Australia. Exactly, it needs to be replicated in Karachi or Islamabad. So it is a huge effort, lots of resource and fundings are required. So certainly in the future we can look into that. But as I mentioned you, the travel advisory, if the human resource couldn't come, if our academics couldn't come here to teach or the train local academics, it is always an obstacle.
But I think that the future of Pakistan is very much bright, that the war on terror will be end very soon, and the future and the travel advisory will be wave off. Then then we will have a good opportunity, and I think that the future of Pakistan and Australia in education sector is more bright, and I hope that before 2020 Pakistan and Australia will be closer together, not only in the field of education but in many other fields as well. Till next program, Allah Hafiz.